Welcome to the Mill Road History Society's presentation called The History of Indian Restaurants in Cambridge. I'm Shahida Rahman and this presentation is for Open Cambridge 2021. This is a portrait of Sheikh Deen Muhammad. He was born in Bengal in 1759 and he joined the Bengal Army at the age of 10 and trained as a surgeon. His father died when he was just 11. He joined the East India Company Army and emigrated to Ireland in 1784. He eloped and married an Irish woman, Jane Daly, who became an outcast in her own community. Sheikh Deen Muhammad opened the first Indian restaurant in 1810 in George Street in central London. The business start-up and running costs didn't match the restaurant's income, and within a couple of years, Muhammad had filed for bankruptcy and the business closed. Here's a handwritten menu of the Hindustani coffee house, comprising of spicy dishes such as pineapple pulao, which was auctioned for £8,500 in 2018. Here's an image of Lascar seamen. These men worked on British steamships, ferrying back cargo such as tea, coffee, sugar, and porcelain to Britain. Many of the Lascars were also ship's cooks and began opening cafes and restaurants in clusters around English ports in the late 1920s. These initially catered for other sailors in port and early East Pakistani settlers, and rapidly became places of employment for these men. By the early 20th century, Britain had become home to around 70,000 Asians, mainly servants, students, and ex-seamen. A handful of Indian restaurants sprang up in London, the most famous being Salot-e-Hind in Holborn and the Shafi in Gerrard Street. In 1926, the Veeraswamy opened in 99 Regent Street, the first high-end Indian restaurant in the capital, founded by Edward Palmer. This was the Kohinoor restaurant at 74 Mill Road in Cambridge, and it's believed to be the first Indian restaurant in Cambridge, which opened in 1943. Two of the Bahadur brothers moved to the UK from India to join their brother who had opened the Kohinoor on Roper Street in London. The brothers opened the Taj Mahal in Brighton, in Oxford and in Northampton. Shortly after this, the Kohinoor in Cambridge and the very first Indian restaurant in Manchester, the Kohinoor on Oxford Road. These all arrived before the breakout of the Second World War. They were run by Lascar seamen who had learnt to cook on ships and then brought their skills to England. Restaurants opened by East Pakistanis were labelled as Indian restaurants. This is how they were marketed. This is the photo of the Shalimar restaurant, which was based at 84 Regent Street in Cambridge, and it opened around 1952. Now the word means master of buildings, and it comes from the famous Shalimar Gardens in Lahore, Pakistan. This is the Taj Mahal, which was located at 37 Regent Street in Cambridge, and it opened around 1956. The owner also opened the Mumtaz Mahal restaurant on Hills Road. Mr. Musland Ali lived on Sedgwick Street for 18 years. He died in 1979. Now, the name came from the Taj Mahal, which was built in Agra in India in 1632 to 1658 by the 5th Mughal Emperor of India, Shah Jahan. He built it for his wife Mumtaz Mahal. When Mr. Ali passed away, this article appeared in the Cambridge Evening News on the 3rd of July 1979. This appeared in the Cambridge Evening News on the 10th of December 1971, and this shows what the Taj Mahal sold at the time, the kind of curries that they had, and the typical desserts that were served in restaurants were mango from tins and guava, which was served in sweet syrup. My late father, Abdul Karim, arrived in Cambridge in 1957, and he established the New Bengal Restaurant, which was located at 43 Regent Street in Cambridge. In 1963, my father took out a 12-year lease on an office space at 43 Regent Street, which was converted to the New Bengal Restaurant. The property was owned by the estate agent Watson and Son, who had premises next door at number 45. In November 1975, the lease of the New Bengal was due to expire, but Watsons did not wish to re-let the premises, wanting it to enable them to expand their own offices. A public inquiry was held, and they were already using the upstairs rooms of the restaurant. My father didn't want to lose the New Bengal and was bitterly disappointed when in May 1975 Watsons won an appeal to reclaim the space. This article appeared in the Cambridge Evening News on the 22nd of August 1975. City restaurant to be turned into offices. My father went on to establish a second restaurant called the Bengal Tandoor Mahal, and it was located at 4 Fitzroy Street in Cambridge. Mahal means mansion or palace. Throughout the 1970s and 80s, curry restaurants became the venue of choice for pubgoers and nightclubbers after closing time. Owners and their staff often had to endure customer abuse, sometimes racist, in order to survive. Some customers thought it was acceptable to run off without paying for their meals. The Bengal Tandoor Mahal had a new image in the 1980s. This is a photo of the Curry Queen on Mill Road, and it's probably the oldest surviving restaurant in Cambridge. The owner of this restaurant built the first tandoori oven. He passed away in June 2021. So restaurants at the time served a variety of dishes. Prawn cocktail became prawn puree. Chips became Bombay potatoes. Chicken tikka was served mild, Madras medium hot, Vindaloo was very hot, but chicken tikka masala became the most popular curry dish in the UK. Patak's was the most popular spice provider to all catering establishments, and it was established in 1958. So other restaurants that started to appear were the Kismet on Northampton Street, Bombay on Bridge Street, Sylhet on Hills Road, Shahi opposite Trinity College, the Standard Tandoori on Mill Road, Mumtaz Mahal, which later became the Raj Bilash on Hills Road, and the Curry Centre on Castle Street. Other restaurants appeared in the 1980s and 90s. Here's some information about the Kismet restaurant. My father was registered living here in August 1959. In the minutes of the governing body meeting on the 23rd of May 1963, it confirms that Magdalene College, Cambridge, bought the freehold of 7 Northampton Street and was let to Mr. Agarwala for 7 years from June 1962 at £350 per annum. On the 31st of October 1968, it was agreed that the lease for the Kismet restaurant should be terminated at the expiry of the lease on the 11th of June 1969, and to offer the Kismet an annual tenancy which shouldn't be renewed for more than 3 years in all, from June 1969, and to convert the property into residential accommodation. On the 20th of April 1972, the decision was taken to raise a sum of money to convert the property into residential accommodation. One of the fellows in the college at the time remembers that the college converted the restaurant into a residential accommodation for the chaplain, they needed a family home, whereas the previous chaplain had only needed a flat. Here's a photo of the day of the opening of the Standard Tandoori restaurant, which was located on Mill Road, and this is dated 1991. Thank you for watching a brief history of the Indian restaurants in Cambridge. If you have any questions or comments, please do get in touch.